Hello there. Just recently, as I've been lifting slightly heavier weights as part of my weight training program, I started getting sore in my hips and hamstrings, and I decided to start a program of specific, a very specific form of yoga to help with my mobility and to open my hips and lower back. My teacher told me to avoid spending loads and loads of time on it each day, and instead to be able to do 15 minutes a day, and that was it. And he said the micro goal of properly getting 15 minutes done each and every day would have a far better incremental effect, a far better longer lasting effect when it was made a routine and part of my day. So that's what I now do. This morning I was exercising very early. This is something that I've done for many years now, right back to the start of my endurance running days. I follow a very specific training schedule and know what to do when I'm in the gym or at home, as is the case currently, or out on a run. And the main thing that ensures that I do this week in, week out is having a routine. I've established some habits and know how to establish new effective habits when a change is required. And it's something that I impress upon many of my clients, most of them in fact, as they look to develop some change in their lives. And that is, establishing routine or creating new routines. It's something that I believe to be very important also when we're having our sanity tested in lockdown, for example. Routine gives us a way of ensuring that we get things done without having to think too hard or make a huge amount of effort necessarily, at least not when it becomes automated. Many may have switched off at the notion of me mentioning routine because it's not necessarily the sexiest or most inspiring of topics necessarily. It seems that way. Plus, chaos and randomness are also topics that I champion myself in other ways at other times, especially when we're seeking to advance creativity, for example. When I suggest to my clients or students that they establish a daily routine or even a number of daily routines for different aspects of their lives and different aspects of their day, they often start to think of a strict day with no room for fun or downtime or playfulness or spontaneity. Now, I couldn't live without those things in my life. You see, as I get older, I recognize more than ever that there are so many benefits of having a solid daily routine, and that's what I'm speaking about here on this video today. Some people tend to revolt in the face of too much organization and want to be able to revel in chaos. And there are times when chaos will pay dividends, absolutely. But ultimately, it can end up with very little getting done and potentially result in confusion or lack of direction, upset even. And it sounds very romantic to live without structure. I'm aware of that, and I've wanted it for myself in many chapters of my life, in particular during my backpacking traveling years. Yet for many, it can end up being stressful, messy. Today I have morning routines, incredibly well organized workday routines, evening routines, and you know what? I have more peace of mind, more time with my loved ones, more free time, and more creativity time than ever before. So with this video, my aim is to embellish this a little bit and to explain the main reasons that I believe you need to embrace the power of routines and get them into your life. And firstly, routines create momentum. One of the wealthiest men in history, Warren Buffett, nurtured one important habit that he cites often. And his daily routine, Warren Buffett's daily routine, includes a lot of reading. And he states in interviews and books that he spends about 80% of some of his days reading. Importantly, he reads a lot every day. And when asked how to get smarter in a CNBC interview, Buffett held up a stack of papers, company prospectuses, annual reports, and he said, "Read 500 pages like this every day. That's how knowledge builds up, like compound interest." And that is momentum, routinely engaging. So routinely engage in something every day, and it builds big momentum. And as I mentioned earlier, with establishing some mobility in my life recently, and there's that adage: little by little, a little becomes a lot. And this is true here. Although the benefits of doing something small every day may be small, the payoff is much bigger after a while. I received a testimonial about my diploma course from a graduate of mine in Denmark. I've got a guy called Michael Biligianis. Hello, Michael. And he signed off on the testimonial by writing, "Adam is now one of the references I use most. When in doubt, ask Adam," in relation to hypnosis and hypnotherapy. If you visit the testimonials page of my college website, I have many such references whereby people refer to the knowledge I have of my professional field. And that comes from my daily routine. Reading 20 pages of peer-reviewed journals a day, or a particular textbook, for example, means I will have read 7,300 pages in a year, which helps support my claims of being a complete hypnosis geek. When running and working out, I listen to audiobooks, and those minutes add up, and I typically get through a couple of audiobooks each month. Not just for studying and learning, though. When it comes to exercising, running just 3 miles a week means you have 468 miles a year. That's 18 marathons. A single mile walk a day is 365 miles a day. Productivity habits, writing habits, all these things kind of benefit from this relentless forward progress in an inherent routine. So routines build momentum. And that naturally leads to us getting more done. We get more done as a result. When you have an established routine, you get to wave goodbye to those days where you feel like nothing will get accomplished, or those days where you feel so overwhelmed by goals and your desired outcomes that it seems like nothing's going to get done. Your daily routine is likely to result in your ticking off many more things on your to-do list. Not that you should have a massive to-do list, by the way, because you'll be scheduling effectively. You'll be getting tasks completed and making progress towards your bigger goals. A routine will often result in you setting specific times for tasks and important objectives, each day. And once you've developed that routine into a habit, you are far less likely to put things off or avoid certain things. Of course, there's going to be occasional distractions or matters that require you to go and attend to, which means you run out of time in your day. But a quality routine enhances productivity for sure, and it makes it much more likely that you'll be more productive. Speaking of which, in the write-up to this video, wherever you're watching it, I've included some links to some articles that I think will really help you be more productive within your routine, and related to some other themes that I'm speaking about here. See, not only do you get more done, but you're likely to become more efficient with what you are doing. When you routinely engage in something repeatedly and systematically, it becomes habit, and thus you're less likely to need to think about it in order to act. And this form of habitual automation increases efficiency, and it decreases decision fatigue. You don't have to think too much about what you need to be doing and whether or not to do it. When more happens automatically, you then get to use your brain power for being creative and thinking better at specific times and when needed the most. As you continue to develop, effective habits and systems and processes throughout your life, it means that you'll be far less likely of having to deal with mountains of work or issues by letting something problematically build up, like people not organising their bookkeeping, or end up having to do it all the week before it's due, and write off most of that week catching up, for example. Now, routines also enhance mental health, and that's the main reason for me doing it today. During mayhem-filled, disorganized days, anxiety and stress levels tend to rise. I know some people will state this kind of chaos can be creative. Yes, that may be so on occasion. However, a daily routine removes a lot of types of stresses and frustrations and eliminates a lot of guesswork and lack of coherence from even the busiest of days. Additionally, a solid daily routine is so good for mental health that it's been employed to help people with bipolar disorder. For example, researchers from the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine report that bipolar patients fared better when their treatment stressed the importance of establishing daily routines for things like sleeping and eating. Social rhythm therapy, as it's been dubbed by the researchers, is based upon that idea that irregular habits, such as sleeping in particular, and those associated with other daily activities, can trigger manic episodes by disturbing the body's sleep-wake clock, our circadian system. So even among people with other types of issues, so certainly in my therapy rooms, I certainly find great benefit for my clients, patients, establishing healthy, constructive and effective routines for enhancing their capacity to make changes in their life. Now, believe it or not, you actually get more time for you. On the contrary to what many people might initially think, your routine is likely to give you more time for healthy relaxation. As well as getting more done, as discussed in my previous points, it also means that you get to make more free time, more me time, a priority. That is, you schedule time for doing things that are going to enrich you on a number of levels, things that revitalize you or stimulate you or make you happier or fulfill you. And then you plan the other stuff around it. You'll be rewarded on so many levels for doing that. And what's more, you go on to forge better habits. Benjamin Franklin once wrote, "Your net worth to the world is usually determined by what remains after your bad habits are subtracted from your good ones." We want more good habits in our lives. When you actively and consciously develop an effective daily routine for yourself, it tends to inherently instill plenty of good habits. When we proactively make the decision to choose what we're going to do with each aspect of our lives, we tend to want to do the things that make us happier or make us more effective in an area of our lives. The simple act of routinely, proactively participating in our own daily lives, we forge better habits for ourselves. Likewise, though, a daily routine also has the ability to help free us of bad habits. It makes sense, doesn't it? If you're establishing lots of good habits, then it leaves less room for your old poor habits. And the new vein of positivity and good habits helps to dismantle much of the outdated bad habits. Now, this may seem a tad too idealistic, but I assure you, when you persist with new chosen routines, and unwanted old ways tend to become a thing of the past. You might even identify the bad habits you wish to bring to an end, and then specifically make it your aim to create routines and forge the good habits that eradicate the unwanted ones. You get life autonomy with routines. Routine provides structure, and you get to choose and plan that structure. Colin Powell once gave a powerful TED talk about the importance of instilling structure in the lives of children. The same can be said about us adults. An established routine provides structure and also offers up a sense of familiarity and ownership of one's own life. And this doesn't mean that we never venture out of our comfort zone, not at all. It simply means organizing your life so that it makes sense to you. You wake up each day with a deep sense of ownership and order and organization of your life, and you get a sense of knowing the direction that you're steering your life in. With routine, you get to choose how your days go. Without any sort of routine, you run the risk of becoming a sort of passive recipient of life, and life just sort of happens to you. Having your routine and accompanying schedule means you have autonomy, you have control over your day, you get to choose to do exactly what you want, focusing on accomplishing your goals. And I love that notion, and it's incredibly rewarding and satisfying to live that way. I'm hoping you're getting that, you're feeling that. With routines, you overcome procrastination as well. Procrastination thrives when you don't know what the heck is happening. And you have a little clear direction. I work with so many people whose lives just seem to fly by with little meaning or fulfillment because they write off periods of time due to not knowing what direction to go in. Working through your schedule and adhering to your established routines means you get things done. You know what is expected of you. You have direction. You have a sense of purpose that's fueling it all. Typically, having more days like that then leads to you having a better sleep pattern. One major thing to be found in so much research upon sleeping better is having a routine. In the same way that your working life gets smoother with an effective routine, so your night times will as well. Your body will respond wonderfully to an established rhythm that promotes better sleep. According to the National Sleep Foundation, having a routine whereby you go to bed at the same or a very similar time each night and rising from bed at the same time or similar time each day helps regulate the body's internal clock. But also it means you no longer need willpower when you have routines. When you're riding the wave of momentum and you have life autonomy and a degree of effective automatic productivity in so many areas of your life, you start to negate the need for willpower. Once a routine and subsequent habit is formed, you no longer need to battle with yourself to eat healthily or follow the exercise plan or study or write or read and all the other things that you wish to do with your life. They start to happen by themselves. They're an inherent part of your day. Willpower and motivation levels, they can go up and come down. So relying on your routine to accomplish goals and tasks is more effective. Get your routines established, set them to autopilot, and thus make willpower and motivation redundant and unnecessary. You can still work on those things. When you examine the routines of some of the greatest and most influential people to have walked the planet, you tend to notice some common themes within their routines and their daily habits. Typically they stay focused on their life goals and their sense of purpose, and they master being able to eliminate distraction that could take them away from that main focus. Secondly, they tend to be early risers who really made the most out of the first few hours of the morning. And thirdly, almost all of them incorporate some form of exercise into their daily routine. Again, in the write-up to this video, I've given some links to a handful of articles to help you with all of these areas that I've mentioned. At least they'll be good starting points. And these are all simple, what I would consider to be easy ways of following in the footsteps of some of life's great achievers. If you wish to make a more profound impact upon the world or just upon your own world, if you wish to lead a more fulfilling and satisfying life, then establishing a set of routines and including some of the elements that I've mentioned here is going to help you do that. Plan them, then make every effort to adhere strictly to it and let it gradually become a routine. Let it start to happen automatically. I've always wanted to devote so much of my life to a few meaningful pursuits that hopefully leave the world in better shape than I found it. And routines make that more realistic and possible for me. And according to the research, consistent action, relentless forward progress, eliminating distractions, focusing upon the main objectives, these are the sort of grand themes of having solid routines. And even though there'll be challenges, being able to step back into the routine greatly rewards us after such challenges in particular. I think that if you want a more satisfying experience of life, and if you're keen to be productive, and if you wish to make an impression upon the world, then a structured daily routine is where it's at. set your days in such a way that you go where you need, and then enjoy the glory of becoming incredibly accomplished, but in your own way. That's all for today. Do subscribe to this channel. You'll get all the notifications of updates and new videos first. Do go explore my college website for details of my online and classroom-based courses in hypnosis, self-hypnosis, and hypnotherapy. And go discover our members area. It's vast. I send you my very best wishes. Goodbye for now.